Wall is down, they're taking control, and just about to force a fight onto these two players who are now completely sandwiched, pushed up on Heaven. This is going to be an opening for Unity, but now the team starts to split in, take these fights together. Unity dropped, but the return is there. glovee keeping them alive, shutting them out.
Value on this team is basically void.
Sure, yeah, exactly. Look at this pace change here from Anubis, nice and quick in towards the A site, and they are being torn apart. Running into Astra utility, running into Killjoy util, and of course the weaponry sitting pretty comfortably in favor of the Oxygen side. They've lost one player, but that is all. That's
Man, especially in these sort of rounds.
Oh, nice deep flash, doesn't actually catch ZizoX. He's going to be able to find the first. Falling back though, low HP, he needs cover. His teammates falling all around him. That flash seems to have deterred any further push out of this defensive side, but considering it's a bonus round already with the damage done to Zizo, this is a pretty good start. Mitch, it's a little bit much for my liking. You knew there's players in mid and you'll take a ranged fight against rifles. It ends predictably, and now Oxygen just look to do as much damage as they can to close this round out. But this will be more than likely Anubis walking away with the victory.
This whole round has been a bit much for me. They put down a smoke and then dashed through it out into B. Like, I like the fact that popped. Yeah, I like the fact that they're going for something a little bit crazier in a round like this, especially. It makes it, firstly, a little bit more interesting, but also catches a few players off guard. They brought this back to a very winnable position, Mitch. 2 players with 26 health combined. But Frost has taken a lot of control. They still have to go back and get the spike, though, so there's going to be a fair amount of time wasted just to get back onto this site.
Yeah, but Avaz dying, no one else was rotating through the sewers, and that's going to cause a big problem because they gave up mid control completely. At this point, there could be players in there. They have to go as a duo. They have to move cautiously. Even running inside of sewers now could result in them being swung on. It doesn't matter in the end, because Frost just sprays down to hunt the kill. Same thing there for Mittez on the mid play. You're going to have 2 hostiles detected by KO. Knowing now that there's 2 players in Heaven, you're assuming it's going to be a little bit of a lighter presence in towards the B site, but obviously there's so much utility to pierce through before you actually get to the site. It's not always easy to make that move. Flash popped. Gonna look for that control, start fighting for it up in Heaven. And I have to look at Oxygen and think, what is the response from this team? And, well, it's just for Mittez to take a duel on his own, and he's done well, eliminating shalaby.
Avez getting spammed through. They're losing every single battle that comes, and he's now the last one left, just lurking within the smoke. They have been slaughtered on every single frag in this round, and he will get absolutely nothing done as well.
Be the fact that Unity is alive with a lockdown. If you place that Viper's Pit and they're able to lock you down and push you out of it, then your ultimate's basically completely wasted. Look at this from glovee, the aggressive flash, and even though there's a player watching it, not blinded far behind, he's able to get a kill and almost eliminate Frost as well. Oh, he's gonna run through it with the flash popped on the other side. The timing was so poor. Great intention, but terrible. No ulti, so they still have everything to work with here on the Anubis side, and that's gonna be a problem for XiSTOU. Luckily, he's able to make it away through the grav wall with the knife out. Good reactions, and even managed to pick off Avez, which when there's a Cosmic Divide down, taking a player like Avez out of the equation is massive, because that showstopper can really surprise you.
So quick.
Again, we have to keep an eye on that lockdown. That's going to be a big problem because they'll have to push out of the Viper ultimate or try to destroy it. Surely they won't just sit there and be detained, and that's when Oxygen try to cut them off, and they do a fantastic job of it. Nice and easy. shalaby, low HP, and plenty of players to take him down. I mean, that is... Tom, this doesn't look like the same team that we saw yesterday. No. Oxygen were horrendous. They were sloppy. And I have to wonder if a lot of that is from just playing their countrymen, a team that they knew. Maybe they started trying to play outside of their comfort zone to throw them off, something like that. But now they're looking...
Oh, they got slaughtered.
The walk-up not working out there for Unity, and the follow-up with the operator of Toronto still doesn't connect. Now, when we saw Toronto yesterday, he was not having a good time on that op. He was looking very, very poor. I wonder if we'll see a turnaround still. At 7-1, you can't even read into where he's at KD-wise or any of that sort of stuff. Lots of attempts at aggression coming out of this double Sentinel lineup, and well, Tom, none of them have worked.
They're not A. Oh, dear.
They are. That's the problem. They are A as well. There were 2 players there, sat on different angles, wait. Like he might get split on. The turret is covering his back, so they're at least a little bit confident that they can't be, or he can't be flanked on. But it's that ramp fight that's really going to matter, and Zizo's about to round the corner just as glovee goes to check it. The timing, absolutely terrible. The flash, sure, it blinds him, but the point is to get him safely across, and it did that.
Yeah, he's also now just going to be able to hunt information using the Tasmanian Tiger. Again, no dash available for Toronto, but he's going to be able to get away anyway, and there's still multiple players within this site. XiSTOU is not going to be able to avoid it, but the main player we need to watch is actually Mitch. He swings around and gets 2 kills while dropping the spike in main. They only have seconds to try and retrieve it, Mitch.
20 on the clock. Shalaby somehow wins that fight with 6 HP remaining. He's able to recover the spike, but as he comes towards the site, there's already players here, but from the top rope, chrollo's able to put it down to a 1v1, but Unity pulls it through in the end. But a lot of information taken, and they are almost beckoning Anubis to push in towards this A side so they can force some fights. Speaking of forcing fights, Mitch already on it. Toronto's dropped the Viper, and here's the split coming through, but the wall is gone, so it's very easy for Unity to at least find that first. This is a gorgeous round out of Oxygen, I have to say.
I think pretty much all of them have been. zizox going to be the only man left standing. He will at least get rid of Toronto. Operator not really going to be worth much of an upgrade in this sort of circumstance, and he's going to go pushing through straight into the grab. Well, he's stuck, but still wins the duel.
1v2, all of a sudden, this is so much more winnable. zizox with nothing else on his mind. He's hearing those steps up above. Making his way towards that site, getting the plant down. One away from ulti after a plant. Unlikely to come into the equation, though, considering we're in the 1v2. I want to see how Oxygen handle this one. For now, it's just sticking together. They have got a Cosmic Divide to work with. They still have a Star online. One on B that hasn't been pulled back just yet, but it looks like it's going to be raw aim duels that they're looking for. Not a common spot to hold in this kind of position. zizox might actually throw them off a little bit playing behind this placard. Oh no, they've spotted him now. That's a big problem. Never mind. Mitch again with the impact closing that one out. They're not going to let it slip. And we see 9 for Oxygen.
I am now starting to get a bit frustrated with, like, the knife is almost just being used to go, there are players in poison orb thrown over to at least give them a little bit of space. Again, knife thrown through. We're seeing a little bit of bunny by the looks of it, and avez, he's going to find the opener. That's all they needed, just a judge play.
Yeah, judge blast pack into A. Not the most conventional of strategies, but one that has given them a positive to play with here. Now, Toronto's come in with a quick pick on the Shalaby. They're going to be bailing out of here. Seekers online for Glow. As you can see, he just about makes it out as well. Not like Mitch on the other side of the map. They won't really be able to hunt him down. The Seekers revealing that Frost is up close. There's the follow-up, the dash with the knife, but Frost good for 1 and almost follows up to Glow. Oxygen don't want to let this one slip just yet. 2 players outside of A main. That is not a traditional post plan. It puts a lot of pressure onto avez to be able to hold down this side by himself, and he receives a headshot right away. They're going to go down and just try to get this spike diffused at this point.
What?
And Mitch has died to the Nano Swarm.
What just happened? And we've also won the duel there as well. It's left all onto XiSTOU. It's a slightly open plant. I'm not sure what we just witnessed. All right, well, waiting to see what Anubis have to offer here. This is so aggressive from Toronto, and he's got completely lost within his own utility. I'm
gonna put some words out there. Toronto's my least favorite jet I've ever seen, I think, hands down. What's happening here? Anubis are just rolling them as they run through that utility. Who would have known? Going on to B side through a smoke, not a good play. As XiSTOU's left alone to try and clutch this one out, you can pretty much kiss goodbye to this round. It looks like Anubis get the opening back into the map that they wanted with the pistol win. Again, 22 HP, now 1 HP, haven't touched the wall. He's suppressed. He's vulnerable. He's just everything. It doesn't look like
someone flash him as well.
No, why not? Yeah, chuck a flash in. Get him stunned up.
They do have no more utility left, so there you go. Now, all he has to do is kill the players who have much more HP than him. I'm sure that's going to be easy, and as you can see, it wasn't.
I have to ask, you know, when I look at Toronto playing this, we don't expect to see very much.
But yeah, there's so much information already garnered by the side of Anubis as well, so it's not going to become any easier for this attacking side. Shalaby's actually kind of screwed here. He's going to get taken out almost instantly. Does manage to get straight up to Toronto.
Come on. I mean, we saw that happening, Tom. We saw it happening. He came up the rope as it was down and just continued.
Spike down, B.
He's just making his sacrifices.
No, I can see this being a big play just because it's avez.
Is he going to blast back on someone's head? Or is he just going to stand here? I think he's just going to stand here. He's going to get the fight that he wants. First goes his way! Almost wipes down all of them. Mittez, thankfully, will shut them out, but he's already done more than enough. A judge invested to get a couple of kills. This is already a successful round for Anubis. Anything more, maybe the comeback's on.
Bonus round, by the way. They've just found a 1-for-2 opening trade on a part of map control. Oxygen willingly went to fight. That is huge for this defensive side, but it's still very difficult to close these rounds out. Holding down the map control with 4 players is doable, but when you have these weak weapons, you're drastically limited on what kind of fights you can actually take. Even look at the A side. If they decide to push out and run into this Killjoy util, shalaby normally would be in the perfect position to punish them, but with a Spectre in hand, he might be in the perfect position to lose the aim duel. We'll see, though. It looks like it will be an A hit, and so the pressure is going to be on shalaby. Calls his teammate Zizo towards the back of the site. Look at all that util, though, man. Astra Stars, and they're sending the spike alone through it. That's about to get dropped if they're not careful.
They've managed to avoid most of it by the looks of things. The pop flash going to be there for shalaby, trying to give a little bit of extra space. They're also just delaying them. The spike's only just getting onto the site, and they didn't clear it. They didn't even know the Zizo was here. No one has checked for someone within the site, and that's it. The round's already over. Oh no.
Not an ideal round, not at all for Oxygen, but it represents a step in the right direction for Anubis now. And having trust in his teammate like that, and not being like, I need to get the big play, I need to save the round, is one of the reasons I love shalaby as a player, both when he was standing in EMEA on Vitality and just generally.
Flash didn't quite make it around the corner, but
not this time.
It doesn't matter, you know? No one got hurt. That's the only thing. And we're going to see screen put up almost like to block the players in mid, but they've already managed to make their way through. Toronto looking to lead the charge, and this time he does get the opener. You've also got the stun go through, so it leaves the players at least a little bit vulnerable, but they're going to be able to win every single duel anyway. It's
push coming down. Oxygen want to try and find a solution, and the aggression that they pull out starts well. 1-for-1 trades. They can't get out of there. shalaby at least able to trade it back, keep it into even footing, and he continues the aggression, shutting them down and dropping the spike. Now, these players towards the A side have to rotate back. They're split as well because Toronto's made his way into heaven to try and meet the mid push that happened. Problem is the mid push lasted all of 3 seconds, and at least Toronto hasn't ran through that nade this time around, but he is about to be shot in the back. Oh, maybe not.
They definitely know that he's coming from this direction, has his teammate to clear the bottom of mid, and they have at least been able to retrieve themselves the spike. That's something, but they're going to go pushing back into what is basically a stack-up, but they win the majority of the duels, but Zizo again.
Looking like they might be on the home stretch. Look at the ultis as well, massively in their favor. Having the likes of the showstopper available to turn around on its head, and Avez is actually on the A site, currently getting pressured. As Oxygen look to push on forward through this choke point to meet Toronto, he's already fallen, and the rest of the team, they don't stand a chance. It's all on Unity, and yeah, that's a good kill, a good follow-up as well. 1v2, it starts to look doable.
Yeah, I'm not sad.
I'm not sad at all. Decided to see chocolate fudge, man, I feel better. Look at this push. Again, gonna be paced up for Anubis. This hasn't worked so far, or sorry, for Oxygen. This hasn't worked so far on just blitzing in towards the A side, but they've actually caught it completely empty. And with these players locked in heaven, it looks like we could be seeing a plan come down for this attacking side.
Yeah, I almost wonder if this is a plan, though, from Anubis, because they do have the lockdown available. There is one on either side, so it's going to make things at least a little bit more interesting. Toronto, with a far more aggressive stance than maybe expected, it will trade things back into a more even scenario. That nade is going to do a hell of a lot of damage, at least clearing Unity into the open, but he still manages to win the duel, and they've managed to catch out Zizo, and the push is coming for him. They're going to hunt him all the way down. Glow has killed him off, leaving Frost to try and face in the 1v3.
Hoping they could get that lockdown destroyed. It's the end for them as Frost falls around. When it comes to the attacking side, these guys are spread out in a default, waiting for a push to come through. Turret watching for the B push, and it looks like we're about to have a challenge there. Avez still with the showstopper online, and I think that's why Oxygen are being so cautious about pushing him down. They make too much noise, they start to run together. They're gonna run right into this Raze utility. It was the nade this time, but it'll be the rocket next.
Zizo, a complete switch up of spots, and did they both jump down without a gun out? I can't believe that would be something he attempted. They're still just jumping into his hand.
How did he win that? They're ready for this. Avez with the showstopper, not going to be able to even get his nade out of his hand. chrollo receives a headshot right away. This is a much better start out of Oxygen.
Yeah, they put themselves in a solid position. I will say Zizo's still standing, so maybe I'll hold my breath just for the moment, because the amount of triple kills this guy has got is currently off the charts, but realistically, a chance in this retake seeming kind of slim. Toronto will be closing out chrollo as well, and now it's left all on to Zizo to try and win this in a 1v4. And honestly, I'm not sure how good the credits are on the Anubis side, but I think they've been doing well enough that he could probably just try and do this for damage.
Oh yeah, I think he can probably throw himself at it. Not much to be found as expected. Big round out of Toronto evaded, but look at Oxygen. They've actually moved the other way around. Anubis have been baited into using this ultimate very early on, and the showstopper is going to get them absolutely nothing. Great early round by Oxygen, getting that off the board immediately. Now they need to deal with Zizo, and that's where the problem has been again and again. This time he's on the site, and it doesn't look like they're quite ready for that. With Shalaby falling, Zizo is again able to get away with a kill, but he's shut down right after.
They even stunned him and still didn't check him, but luckily this time they deal with it before he can do too much damage. The rotation's in on the flank, but there is a second player rotating from behind. Unity is going to catch out another overtime, looking on the cards, but chrollo does at least bring it back with impossibility.
It's doable at this point, but very difficult. So many players hiding away. They've got to clear it out.
Oh,
the headshot from chrollo, though, makes this so much more doable. Now as they look towards the site, they know Unity was playing back in A main. All they have to do is deal with Glow, but he's good to take the first, and now the time gets very low indeed. Unity, headshot almost out of the round, but the time is gone. It is done, and we're going to overtime on Split. What an incredible game this has been so far. Back and forth in halves, but not in rounds.
Yeah.
It's been incredibly one-sided towards the defensive side. Luckily, Oxygen found the solution, though, towards the end of their attack. Now they get to run it back on defense once more.
Yeah, Toronto coming online a little bit, I think definitely was one of the difference makers towards the end, like taking so much space in towards A. Also, Zizo only getting one kill definitely helped. I was very scared in that round because, as I said, they actually stun his exact position, and then they just go, that'll do.
That'll do. That's enough.
Just don't clear it at all. But hey, it worked out in the end. We end up in OT. It means that realistically, the operator going to be much more of a risk. So the defensive side just going to go back to the standard rifles. And I'll be intrigued to see if we're going to get something maybe a little bit more aggressive coming out. And in fact, actually, no. Toronto has gone in for the operator, so that risk has been taken.
Oh, okay, that's a really big commitment. He didn't get anything done with it in regulation, but now an opportunity as he gets aggressive and the first goes his way. Avez down and out of the round. They try to force it right away, but Toronto keeps on going. Already a sec disadvantage to play with, let alone the... disadvantage to play with, let alone the fact that chrollo is now on 30 HP coming into the... I mean, there's still a minute 10 on the board. The round's only just begun, and it's looking to be in Oxygen's favor.
I like this as well. Like, Oxygen are not just sitting around waiting for their opponents to try and reposition and take control. They are locking them in to the back of that site. Now, I was going to say that there looks like there could be some space for them to actually rotate, but XiSTOU has locked it so that if they try and go back through middle, they'll walk straight into him. So this is an incredibly strong setup at the moment coming out from Oxygen, and realistically, I don't see a way back into this round for Anubis unless XiSTOU whiffs. Probably the worst whiff he's ever had. He went into the cam. Oh, I just had a heart attack.
That could have been incredibly costly.
No.
Frost has gotten away with another kill, cutting off the rotation in through vent room. That was incredible, actually. The fact that he sits there and waits, and the reward is being found. Now the plan's safe as can be. Nothing really to play with when it comes to post plants as utility elsewhere, but that's going to be where the Viper's Pit comes in. Covering off this entire area, playing into it is not easy for Oxygen. This round was basically locked in, and all of a sudden, it's in question yet again. How do they approach this? Nothing really in terms of like even Killjoy utility. She hasn't pulled back her turret or alarm bot, still sitting on the A site. And that gives Frost an opportunity now to just force these aim duels. Luckily, Toronto closes it, and it will be 13 for Oxygen, but only barely.
Yeah, as I said, I was worried because he has an operator going into that retake. But actually, Toronto's the one to basically make the difference in this round. As you sort of brought up in the first half on defense, he got absolutely nothing done. Well, 3 kills coming in. Oxygen getting themselves onto match point. It's been a long time coming. They probably should have been able to do it quite a while ago. Anubis, they made an incredible comeback, but it all comes down to this. We do have to mention, though, this has been one of the most defensive-sided games we've ever watched. Yes. And now we see Oxygen trying to get themselves an attack round.
That's very much the issue. Yeah, I mean, when we see the defensive side for Oxygen now, I'll say that they're feeling a bit better about that double Sentinel pick, but you just see the limiting factors when it comes to the attack, man. It is hard to play with 2 Sentinels like that. With limited space creation. Anubis getting aggressive in the early stages of this round. They've cleared out B main. They've got that control to work with. There needs to be a response from Oxygen. And it looks like middle control is what they want to fight for. Frost has some nice utility, but they've already bypassed it for the most part. Luckily walking back through, though, not deciding to take a hyper-aggressive fight. So Frost, he might have kind of convinced them that he's still in heaven now at this point. That's where the snake bite came from. They flashed heaven and got a ding on it. Frost might catch them off guard.
Poison's off.
Oh, they are somewhat checking it. There's not a lot of utility to actually try and delay them, but instead, shalaby's managed to find Toronto. He's been pressuring over on A for the majority of these rounds. The deep control in B as well makes this almost perfect for the retake of chrollo. Well, he's even leaning his head back away on his camera to make sure he doesn't get shot, because that was a very wide peek.
That was a wide jump peak for sure. Obviously, trying to check the corner. Look at this position from Mitch.
He survives.
Big impact player earlier on. Almost a big whiff out of him on this one. Rotates coming through. Going to take a long time. So much space to clear. And it's that corner. It's never held. I mean, no one ever sits in that position. So, of course, Frost doesn't check it. A free kill for Oxygen. A man advantage now to play with. The Turkish side looking to bring it across the line. All they have to do is stop that spike from being diffused. And Anubis don't have much to play with. In comes the Gravwell. Good kill from Mitez. He goes out for more and connects. That should be it. Zizo not able to clutch it out there.